This car hasn't changed. It smells the same. It's the car that took us to church every Sunday. The one I'd fall asleep in on the way home from visiting my cousins. It may even be the car that brought me home when I was born in 2002. My father used to say it was the last time he felt proud to be Kenyan. The year we brought down a dictator. It's the reason he called me Nuru, because our country had finally left the darkness. The car didn't belong to my father. It was Uncle John's. But even after my father passed, every time I stepped inside, it was him I thought about.
Steve amefariki, lakini hakuna kitu ingine itabadilika. Familia yake ni familia yangu, na mimi bado niko. Naweza kunitegemea.
Uncle John was my father's best friend.
Son, move closer to your sister. We're doing this in 3, 2, 1. Good.
His wife had cooked for me and I went to school with his daughter. His son was the first boy I ever liked. I had been to that house more times than I could count. Uncle John was like a second father to me. He also became the man I lost my virginity to.
Ako vipi? Ko sawa?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Rolling camera.
Welcome everybody to Table Read for Johnny Johnté. Maybe just for our audience's benefit, I'll go through the concept again. MTV Staying Alive Foundation, in conjunction with Shugas, did a bunch of focus group discussions across the country, talking to young people between the ages of 15 to 24, with a special focus on gender issues and sexual reproductive health. So you go out, you gather all this data, but how do you then let your audience know this information? And so what we pitched was a concept called acting out, where you take all this data, you transform it into some kind of story, and then within the narratives of the film, some of these data points or some of these views from young people come out. During the research presentation, Shujas presented these 3 archetypes of the kind of sexual relationship that young women have nowadays in Kenya. And so there's John, who is basically your sugar daddy. So this is somebody that's older financially. They come through for you in a big way, but it's still like a transactional relationship.
Every time he leaves to answer a call, I know exactly who it is. He's never been able to say no to his daughter. But for the fatherless, everything comes at a price.
Is there any reason why you chose to make in this story John to be such a close person to her, like a father figure or like almost like a relative? Is there a reason why that connection is there?
Nuru is kind of like supposed to represent somebody that's like in flux. You know, she's like lost her dad, right? And the only other prominent male figure in her life is Uncle John. Mr. Lusa, do you have daughters?
I have daughters, I'm thinking. I have 3 daughters. I understand where she's coming from with regard to, him feeling those shoes and...
Yeah, it's almost like he's taking advantage of her trust and her family.
Yeah.
There's a tragedy in the sense that can you really say it's consensual if I'm desperate? And I'm sleeping with somebody that's this close to me. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Si wote hatuwezi kuwa mahasla. Trust me. Mimi ni hustler. Your stuff haibambi. Maisha yangu ilichange when nilidungwa rada ya passive income. Hebu cheki. Crypto is the future.
Johnte, who may be slightly older, this is somebody, say Wamta, maybe like a boda guy. He's good for like credit, sending you a little bit of M-Pesa.
Siku hizi gava wanatafuta tax hadi chini ya mattress. Next ni M-Pesa. Lakini blockchain? Ngori.
What they found is that unconventional career moves by younger people, as the job guarantee that comes with a university degree is no longer relevant. There's a growing belief that the quality of one's future life is not as strongly dependent on education as it was in the past.
Come, Khalif. Lakini sikuwa maanisha hapo.
Johnte had the kind of confidence that made you think there was nothing he couldn't do.
Saa 3 za asubuhi bado kwa kitanda. Hii maziwa haingojeangi mtu. Time waits for no man and woman.
It's the reason I fell in love with him. He made the world an exciting place to be. We hated condoms, but we hated children even more. So the morning after pill became a staple.
Young people have a super casual attitude towards sex, siku hizi. I think there's a value in kind of destigmatizing sex for sure. Like, because as we were taught to be afraid of sex. And like, you knew if somebody like in your group had sex, like, what? It's just like, I have no idea like how I would cope like with sex being so accessible and at such a young age.
But also at the same time, I don't think a lot has changed like that. I think the thing that has changed is it not being a taboo. Long ago, people were like, sex is meant for marriage, and especially if you're a virgin, we weren't allowed to go outside to set our eyes with boys unless they were siblings. That was their banner. Our generation, especially if you get someone who is interested in you, it's just simple communication. Like, I've been seeing you, I know we're not dating, but we can just have that one night.
So like, what they were saying is that young people accept that their partners are going to have multiple partners, and they also assume that they'll also have other partners.
I also feel like it depends with the people that you hang out with. Maybe like mabeshte wako anakuambia niko na huyu, so you and you feel the pressure to kutafuta maybe kufanya kenye kubitu anafanya. So I think peer pressure.
So there are young people that still value commitment and that sort of thing.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think so. I think the time that we're living in right now is very different from what was there back then. The world is more liberal now than it was before.
Young people are not as conservative.
Yes, and there's no like value in a monogamous relationship.
In terms of like democracy, like tunasema like kina Nuru ni wase wamegrow kwa time yenye like democracy is something that's really strong kwa society. So don't you think democracy is coming with that kwa sababu wame-democratize even sex? Kinda, cause now if it's democracy then everyone is free. Kila mse akona rights zake whichever way you associate sexually. So which means with democracy then kila mse ako open kusema Kenya anafanya bila kujajiwa na mse yote.
Personally, I just feel like it's really unnecessary because why would you like just sleep around with a lot of people when you can have that one person, or even just casualize sex? Because I think it's just something sacred.
Gen Z's only fear pregnancy, marriage, and data bundles running out.
The flat was always hot from the computers mining Bitcoin. He also had 2 bodabodas doing the rounds and collected 60% of what they earn. He ran an online clothing business, selling mitumba on Instagram.
I mean, it looks good on you.
Fashion was very important to him, and he became my personal stylist. Fitness was key because
your body is an investment. Never let it depreciate.
sex, money, and fun were all that mattered, and he was always ready to provide.
I'm so sorry.
Mi naonanga inastemmingi kutoka trauma za wazai, the background that you've been raised in, especially if you've seen it, so it will subconsciously come out in your relationship without knowing.
We didn't have any secrets. She told me everything. I knew about Uncle John. I knew about the boyfriend that beat her. I knew about the father that took his own life and the mother that had never been the same. She told me that her life had made her feel like a spectator. She never had any control over anything that happened to her. I thought that I needed to save her, and the first step was to demonstrate that I was serious. So we got married at the Attorney General's office, and we were going to live life on our own terms.
Johnny, who's more like age appropriate, probably they go to school together, but Johnny's broke because they're the same age.
Question.
Yes.
As much as both were transactional and then she finds the love of her life, why did you choose to take the approach of marriage, getting married? Why couldn't they just do a normal relationship, without involving marriage?
It's almost like he's trying to prove his commitment to her because he feels like she's been through so much. Like, finally, unaweza tulia.
Hey, excuse. Unaweza nionyesha pale diapers ziko?
Pole, najua unasikia njaa. Acha nikushow kitu.
Hii ni nini?
Ni kitu nimekuwa nikifanya. Si rahisi vile nafikiria. Nimekuwa tu nikiwatch tutorials YouTube for like 2 weeks. Nini mbaya? I thought I did a good job, actually.
Hii sasa ndio imekuwa job. Kila siku nasimama kwa sopa karibu 12 hours. 12 hours, Johnny. Na unafanya nini? Unashona. Wewe ni mwanaume aina gani?
Nimekuwa nikitafuta. Hata wewe unajua degree ya computer science siku hizi si kitu.
Fungua macho, Johnny. Umekuwa huko nje. Unadhani wewe pekee ndio umeenda uni? Ama unadhani na enjoy job ya super?
I just wanted to do something nice.
I hope mtu isi mjinga kababaki.
Hey, come on.
What am I even saying? Mimi ndo mjinga. You had nothing when I met you, and you still have nothing. Niliacha vajua mogi ndani yangu for what? Not even the first Johnny I fucked.
Unakumbuka Mama Kayai na Mzee Ojwang wenye she was this big woman alikuwa anamuona vita kwa hao. So that's what people think of that's how abuse looks like when it comes from a woman. But no, it's things like this. When abuse comes from the woman towards the man, it's not physical typically. It's psychological. It's putting somebody down. It's telling them they're not worth, they're not a man, or they're not handling themselves, or they're not taking care of their family. It's kind of playing on those insecurities in a kumfanya I feel worthless.
I know what violence in a home looks like. Sorry to say this, lakini women don't use their fists to tear you down.
Jinga wewe! Unadhani kuzani kazi rahisi hizo na unapata? Kama si wewe sasa ingekuwa na mtu mwingine better than you.
Yani I've had all the ways msee anaweza ambiwa ako stupid or lazy or useless.
You can't even think. Endelea kunja because that's what you're good at, senior.
And every time I go home, I know what's waiting for me. And wallahi, I can't take it any longer.
So would you say the control that she's being given by Johnny, how this scenes pan out?
Mm-hmm.
Does she take advantage of the control that she's being given?
Yes. because it's that concept of hurt people, no? So because the first two men that she was with hurt her in the ways that they did, now she's turning it around.
Na hiyo kichwa yote kubwa hauwezi tumia kufikiria at all. Yeah, endelea kunja nguo because that's what you're good at. Kukua mboch, si ndio? Na kujifanya unajua kufanya kazi zote za nyumba na kupika and there's nothing that you actually know.
I tell myself I have to stay for my daughter. But what kind of a man will she think I am if her mother doesn't respect me? But at the same time, what am I living for if it's not for my family?
Next.
Aseko chopo yuora nena aseko chopo siepa